Hello, welcome to Innovator Coffee, a podcast that bridges the gap between people and the world of AI and innovation. Follow us to explore the top AI inventions, ecosystem insights, and the emerging trends. Today, we're very happy to have Sandra here. And my name's Vicky. I'm the host of this podcast, and my co-host is Tom. In this episode, Innovator Coffee podcast interview with Sandra, the co-founder of Burn, a company aiming to automate consumer credit management using AI. The conversation covers the revolution of consumer credit interactions, highlighting a shift from traditional financial advisors to internet apps, and now to AI-powered agents like Burn's CredGPT. Sandra details how Burn addresses major pain points in the credit industry. The discussion also explores Burn's technical pillars, including its proprietary LLM trained on credit data, its commitment to data privacy and personalization, and its aspirations for future growth and global expansion in the fintech space. Enjoy. Today, we try to talk about the AI and the consumer credit session. So, hey, welcome, Sandra. Can you help us make a quick introduction of yourself?
Hi, Vicky. Hi, Tom. Thanks for getting me on this podcast. I'm super excited. So basically, we are building Bond, and Bond is putting AI for consumer credit. Our mission is to automate credit management for consumers. Think Bond as Waymo for credit cards, right? So when you look at cars, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, you have to drive from point A to point B by yourself, right? Then came Uber and Lyft and a lot of ride-sharing cabs where someone else will drive you from point A to point B. And then came Waymo, where nobody is driving, a fully automated robot car that takes you from point A to point B. The same thing is happening in credit cards, right? Or any form of consumer credit. When you look back 20 to 30 years ago, the way people were dealing with getting access to credit was actually going to their financial advisors, right? And they used to recommend, hey, what is the right loan for you? What is the right mortgage for you? What is the right credit card for you? Then came internet, right? So people start going on Google and going on products like Bankrate, and then came App Store, right? So a lot of apps came in like, Credit Karma and Mint, where people can manage and learn about credit on their cell phone. But now what's going to happen is that Bond is like AI will take care of managing and finding the right cards for you, applying for your credit cards. So that's what Bond is doing. So Bond is basically automate credit management with AI, put it on autopilot, and AI agents will do all the tasks for you related to your credit cards.
It sounds very exciting. So for the company, we already know that it's the AI-driven credit card recommendation system. Could you tell us more about this AI-powered credit card recommendation space? What's this all about?
So Tom, when you look at current landscape of credit card recommendation, most of the way consumer journey happens is they go on internet or they download an app. They add their financial details like their existing credit cards or bank account and mostly their credit score. And based on their credit score, they are recommended 2 or 3 products, right? Now, consumers don't know which is the right card for them, right? And then they redirect them to all those websites. They apply and get rejected. Every rejection hurts your credit score. Your credit score drops by 5 to 10 points, right? And most consumers have a credit card debt, which they don't know they can refinance at a cheaper price, right? Now with AI, what's happening is AI agent will go and look at all the 3 or 5,000 issuers in the US, right? The legacy players only show you 200 or 300 top cards, and out of those 300 or 200 top cards, they recommend you 2 or 3 credit cards, right? Those recommendations are best for those fintech companies because they make tons of money on that, right? But it's not in the benefit of consumer. For consumer, you need to look at pretty much every single issuer in the US. Now, practically, that's not possible. without AI. But with AI, agents can go and look at every single issuer in the US, can look at every single card by each issuer, and then can match with a customer profile, right? So that's the status quo, and that's the shift happening with AI in credit cards. Another thing is happening with credit cards is around rewards, right? A lot of people have rewards, but they don't know how to use it, right? But now our agents can find best deals for you. They can recommend products that are suitable to redeem your rewards, right? So a lot of agentic work is happening for the task people previously didn't want to do because it requires you to learn about how money works, how credit works, how rewards work. But now consumers don't need to learn anything because agents are learning on their behalf.
Thanks, Sandra. Now we know how this area developed over time. And what's the history about it? Can you give us some brief talking about this area?
Credit has been for centuries, right? It's not a new thing. The only thing that has evolved is how people deal with credit, right? How people get access to credit. Like 100 years ago, it was a barter system. You give something, you put a collateral, maybe your land or a house or gold, and you get some loan, right? And then in 1960s, credit came on a plastic card, right? So it's a small credit, but you can get small credit to buy your daily stuff and pay all at once, right? And then came, like internet. So people can directly get access to credit with technology, right? So the way people interact with credit is ever evolving. With new technology, there's always a new breed of consumers that evolve, right? So there's always a segment of consumers who go to bank to even buy a credit card, right? Maybe baby boomers, right? But then there's a segment of consumers that buy credit card on apps and apply using apps, right? Now there's a shift in consumer behavior that a new segment of consumer is evolving, that is AI native, which is Gen Z, right? Think of young consumers, they do their homework with AI, they do their art with AI, they do dating with AI. So it's pretty much like they are AI native. AI is in their day-to-day tasks, right? These customers are not willing to learn anything that is boring, like be it driving, be it finance, right? They want to automate as much as possible in their life, right? And there is a gap in market to fulfill this need by this new segment, right? All the existing players require you to learn a lot about finance. They require you to learn about how credit works. They require you to go and read 5 or 10 blogs to understand how to use your rewards, right? But with AI, consumers don't need to do any of those things, right? Because agents are going and reading 100 blogs on your behalf and finding out of these 100 blogs, I figured it out for this particular card. This is the best reward. And they not only give information, but agents can now also act on your behalf, right? So let's say there's a free flight ticket with your points. Now agents can go and make that booking on your behalf, right? So this is the evolution that has happened, how people interact with credit. It's always evolved with every emerging technology. There's a new customer segment that emerges. Existing and legacy players fail to cater that market. There's a gap, and Bond is certainly the first company in consumer credit space that has built end-to-end LLM just focused for credit cards for consumers.
Cool. Specifically, how does your algorithm leveraging AI in your product? I just try to understand this area better because AI can do a lot of things, right?
So, Vaiki, we have launched, we are still in private beta. We are testing our first product, which is CredGPT. It's a chatbot in which you can ask any question related to credit card search and rewards and points, right? So let's say you are a student or you are a single mom or you have 25 credit cards and you need another card, right? You are always confused in the market, right? So what people do, they go to Reddit or ask a question and they get a response, they may not get a response, right? Or people download certain apps which recommend them credit cards, right? But it's not personalized, right? Now with Bond's CredGPT, they can come to Bond and they feel free to personalize the card recommendation to nth level. They can ask, hey, I'm a student, I recently moved to the US, which card should I get? We recommend you card. Then you also have a conversation with our agent saying that I don't have any income and I also don't have a credit score. Tell me best way to get a card. Then we recommend you a card. Then you can still personalize. Say, hey, I want a no-fee credit card. I want free credit card. I don't want to pay any annual fee. We'll recommend you another card. Then you say, hey, I spend a lot on groceries and rent, so recommend a card that fulfill all my needs. Then agent will again recommend you a card, right? And now you are fully satisfied. Hey, this is the right card for me. Our agent will go and apply and will check which of the card recommendation you pre-qualify, right? So you don't need to fill all that information on your phone. It's 8 to 10 step information. Always need to 15 data points or 20 data points these issuers ask for you. And it's a real struggle for people to fill a card application on their phone, right? But agent will go and check with their information, right? Hey, you are eligible out of these 4 recommendations. You qualify for one. Do you want me to go and apply? And all consumers have to do is give a consent to AI agents, approve, and the agent will go and apply and get them a card within 30 seconds.
It's awesome you describe many user scenarios. To understand better, what's the current key focus of your field priority and pain points in your industry that you describe many scenarios? From your observation, what the core people are struggling with your area, such as recommendation or credit scoring or fraud detection or personalization or auto payment or risk of workflows? Do you notice what are the real pain points?
So, Tom, pretty much all the things you talked about, there are pain points, but there are some big pain points, right? Yeah. So when you look at credit card applications every year in the US, there are more than 100 million, right? And a lot of people get rejected, especially young people who don't know about credit much, right? So there's a high rejection rate with credit card. And it's not only hurting consumers, it's also hurting issuers, because on every rejection, they have to pull the FICO report of each applicant. They have to send a mail of rejection in case if they reject, what is the reason of rejection. So there's cost of $10 to $20 on every rejection to the issuers as well, right? So that the whole process has to be streamlined. That's the first pain point. Second pain point is high credit card debt. Americans have more than $1 trillion on credit card debt. When they got the credit card debt, their credit score was low, right? But over the year, their credit score has got better, right? And they have still paying high interest, maybe 25 or 30%, or in some cases 35% interest on their credit cards. And they have no idea how to refinance it and get a cheaper interest rate, right? So billions of dollars are paid every year in high interest on these credit card debts, right? And third is bill payments. 1 in every 3 American is paying a late fee, right? I was just reading, it's almost like $15 billion of interest is earned by issuers through late fees, right? So there's so much inefficiency in the whole process of credit search, credit application, credit card bill payments, right? So we feel like are the top 3 areas where Bond want to initially focus. Of course, then we want to bring the same thing to all other forms of credit, personal loan, education, mortgage, auto, and at some point we'll also bring insurance.
So since we know the past and we know current pain points, right? Why did you choose to build within your specific branch of ecosystem?
So one, I love fintech, and I was trained as an engineer during my college, and I was fascinated by what AI can possibly do in pretty much every industry. And my co-founder Darwin, he is also a fintech veteran. He was one of the original developers of FICO Score, and he also built a large credit card distribution company. So both of us had some insights around consumer credit space, and we know which are the biggest pain points in this industry, right? So we thought, hey, let's brainstorm some ideas. There is a consumer behavioral shift happening. There is a new segment of consumers evolving, which is AI native, and existing solutions are not able to fulfill their requirements. So People are frustrated. In fact, people are going on ChatGPT and other foundation models to ask about credit cards and payments and score building products and just trying to learn. And all these platforms are just giving them information with no action. Right. So we thought, hey, there's a cool opportunity that millions of people are now going on ChatGPT and asking credit questions. Right. And if we can automate all those things, all the questions that they are asking, that will be really cool. Right. So we started with that fundamental thing. And now we are testing CredGPT, bonds, LLM for consumer credit. And we are already outperforming on pretty much every parameter compared to foundation models. Our early users are loving it. And hopefully we'll launch our native app somewhere in August or early September.
As you say that your GPT system outperforms the foundation models in addressing those challenges we mentioned. And could you share that how can you tell that you overperform the foundation models and how do you address those challenges on your platform?
So we did a eval. So we looked at, let's say, one example is you recommend a card, but is the right link recommended with the card or not, right? So most times what happens is foundation models recommend a card, but the link is broken, right? It's redirected you to some other page or some other landing page, right? So that's one issue. Second thing is they are not able to, because these foundation models don't have access to personal information, let's say customer's credit card, they are not able to recommend you a personalized credit card. They are just giving you a generic solution, right? Let's say you are a student at Stanford University, you just moved from China and now you need a credit card. So they will recommend you maybe a $500 credit limit card. But they don't know that there's a banking available with Stanford Federal Credit Union, and that's the best credit card for students at Stanford University, right? We will be able to give that information because we will know, hey, these are the cards the customer is already having, right? This is the bank account a customer is already having. This is the location a customer is. And based on that, we can really personalize the credit card to a customer, which existing foundation models are definitely failing at personalization.
What are the key technical pillars of your platform?
Early few months, we just spend talking to consumers. So we spend meeting every day tens of customers. We met hundreds of people over the month and understood what is their core need. How are they tackling their problems? What are the existing solutions they are using? How happy or dissatisfied they are with their existing solutions? And based on that, we build a hypothesis. Then we decided to build a product roadmap. And then we started training our model. We picked an open source model and then trained our LLM purely focused on credit. Of course, there's a lot of challenges. Especially with getting right accuracy and making the model safe. And I'm proud to say that now our model is pretty much like 99.9% accurate when it comes to recommending credit product to you. It took us a lot of failures we faced in achieving that milestone, but our engineers worked day and night to achieve that. And I think those were some of the early challenges, getting the right accuracy, having a good latency, right? Because we do a really live search on the web and our initial latency was very, very high. And we have been able to significantly reduce it. So our time to first token is now in few seconds, 1 or 2 seconds, you'll get first response in our reasoning. And we are still learning, right? It's a first of its kind LLM in credit space, right? It's a domain specific LLM. So there's a lot of learning and our engineers didn't know much about credit space. So Darwin and I spent a lot of time with our engineers. Hey, how credit system works? What is the algorithm to recommend a credit product? What are the things you need to consider in a scenario? What's the formula? What's the weightage, right? So we spend a lot of time training on our model.
We all know that LLM has hallucinations, so there should be some kind of bias or inaccuracy in recommendations. But credit card decisions are important to users. So how can you dealing with this?
So as I discussed, right, initially we faced some hallucinations, right? So then we put a team of engineers and worked almost for 2 months on that to make it zero, right? So now we are at a stage, if you ask any credit questions, our LLM will give you 100%, almost 100% right credit card recommendation, link, right benefits, and updated information on anything related to that credit card. It may be interest rate, it may be benefits, it may be annual fees. Everything will be as accurate as live on the issuer's website, right? And the way we were able to achieve it is, first we were using knowledge graph, and then we realized, hey, knowledge graph may not be the most efficient way for us. So then we went on a web search and using a lot of agents who were doing reasoning as well as live web search. And with that, we also manually tested first, I think, 500 cards. We manually tested and make sure and trained the model, okay, this is the right way for you to recommend a card, just like a human will do, right? Okay, if you are recommending this card, this is the way to redirect to card slaying, right? So we spent a lot of manual training as well. So there was a lot of human in loop training while building our model. And once we were able to see, hey, there's pretty much no hallucination when it comes to card recommendation or links, we were confident to test it with private beta.
After we finish the technical talking, let's talk about specific value of the founding team brings to this field. Maybe you can give us a little bit background about your founding team and then how each person plays the role.
Darwin and I both started Bond, and we both went to Stanford Graduate School of Business. That's how we got connected. And I'm an engineer by training. Darwin is more of an operations person with a very strong credit experience. As I talked about, he was one of the original developers of FICO score. And that's the unique insight as a team, right? I'm more of a product person, design, engineering. He's operations, industry expertise, network with issuers, the banks. So he understands credit industry in and out. And that gives us definitely a leverage. Beyond me and Darwin, pretty much everyone in our team is a Gen Z. So we also understand, how consumers behave, what are their needs, because we are looking at Gen Z to go to market, and that really balances our team, right? So we have industry expert, we have someone who understands the product design and engineering, and then most of our team, other than, as I said, Darwin and I, are Gen Z. So whatever they are building, whatever they are coding, whatever they are designing is coming from their first-hand problem experience. So I think all three experiences combined together makes us a really good fit to build a company like Bond.
Great founding team has great experiences. So since you launched your startup so far, how have you scaled and grown within this space? How many user interactions, have partnership with banks or credit card issuers or others strategy that moment?
So we haven't publicly launched Tom, so we are still in private beta and testing with a small group of consumers. And regarding partnerships with banks and issuers, we use a lot of financial APIs, right? So a lot of financial institutions are already using and having partnerships with banks and issuers. So we use their APIs to collect data and make it a really smooth user experience for our consumers. All these APIs are based on open banking. So that makes us really easy and fast to ship the product. Otherwise, it will take us months and years to get those partnerships and integrations with issuers and banks.
I see.
So among the recommendations, legibility, prediction, automation, workflows, and explainable transparency, right? Which is the most critical from your standpoint, and why? And
I think,
go ahead.
I think the most important thing when you build a consumer application is privacy, right, and transparency, right? So we are very thoughtful about that to build a trustable brand with consumers. So to us, privacy is number one thing. We will never share customers' data with anyone, not with any LLM, not with any third party. So it's encrypted. It belongs to consumer. That's it, right? So we are very thoughtful about data privacy. Second thing is around personalization. We really want to personalize the whole fintech for customers, right? So we are starting with credit cards, but eventually we will launch more financial and credit products down the line. So these are the two things, right? Like privacy and personalization. These really matter to us. We are starting with recommendation, but it also a lot of management around credit card, right? So taking care of your utilization, making sure that you never overutilize your credit cards beyond 30%, making sure that you pay your bills on time to make sure you never pay any late fees, making sure that you always have the cheapest loan on your credit card or a personal loan. So this is like James Bond for credit working for you 24 hours into 7 so that you don't need to worry about any of those things for you. Someone is working for you 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And that's Bond.
What do you expect will be the major shifts in personalization, issuer partnerships, or automated finance in the near future?
So I think we are already seeing a lot of personalization happening, right? Even now you go to Starbucks to buy a coffee, you can personalize the color of glass you want, right? You can personalize your complete drink, right? It's been there for decades. You can have how much sugar you want or how much flavors you want, right? So it's happening in day-to-day life. Why not in credit? Why can't you personalize what kind of card you want? Do you want to pay fee or not? Do you want to get rewards, the kind of rewards you want or not, right? So most of the rewards, when you look at these credit card companies, are 1990s rewards, right? Some hotels, some airlines, some restaurant coupons, right? But people are spending on Amazon. They are buying cool stuff, right? They are going to TikTok marketplace and shopping stuff there, right? So with the evolution of e-commerce, a lot of things has changed. So what I have noticed is that people's spend behavior is with their fintech and finance app, but their actual spending is happening on a different platform, right? They are going to Amazons, they are going to, TikTok marketplaces of the world. Bond is kind of, trying to merge these two. So e-commerce happens with your exact spend behavior within the Bond ecosystem. So that's the evolution we are seeing on the personalization side. That's more around spending and rewards. Around credit as well, we will try to personalize. Hey, are you a on-time payment person, or do you pay your bills in full, or do you pay the minimum payment? Do you pay early before the due date, or do you pay on the due date, right? So we try to personalize things around your financial behavior and then bring amazing credit products for you, right? So let's say if you are an early payer, you always pay your bills in advance, not even on time, but even on advance, right? So we'll try to get the lowest interest rate for any of the loans you want, be it education loan, be it mortgage, be it auto, be it personal loan, right? So it will make sure because of your good financial behavior, you should get it. And that's what Bond stands for, right? Bond means good in French, and we want to reward good financial behavior by bringing amazing credit products for you, by bringing amazing rewards for you, by bringing amazing commerce products for you.
So how do you measure and mitigate the bias and the inaccuracy in the recommendations or credit decisions, since you guys are in this area specifically?
So Vicky, we have a lot of data. We'll have a lot of data on how a customer behave, and not just his credit score. As I talked about, we will also know beyond credit score. Okay, when the person is paying his bills, let's say if someone is having 5 cards or 2 cards, how many of them they are actively using? Are they overutilizing any of the cards? Are they not using any of the cards at all? Right? And then our AI agents will act on it, right? So let's say if you have 5 credit cards and you are only using 1 card and you are using 50% of your credit limit, right? So our agents will get into action and they will have a conversation with you and they will say, hey, you need to use a certain card, right, for certain shopping. Let's say you are paying rent to your credit card, and then we'll say, hey, there is a special credit card. When you pay your rent, you might get good points or more rewards on that card. And let's say if you eat out a lot, then we can recommend a card that's great for online food ordering, right? And can get you more cash back, right? More points.
What advice do you have for founders who will enter this credit AI or related space, especially around choosing their niche or data governance or building trust?
So I think credit and fintech is huge space. It's very complicated. It will require a lot of industry expertise. So pick something really well. In our case, it was like consumer credit and credit cards. So this was a space both Davin and I knew really well, right? So first is go after something deep and you have some insights to prove your hypotheses, right? So we had an insight, we had a hypothesis, and we are seeing strong signals to prove it right now. So that's the first advice, go in something really well. Second, try to find a beachhead market. Trying to find a customer that is evolving and nobody is catering to that customer. So the more desperate the customer you get, the better and easier for you will be to find the product market fit, right? So in our case, because we spent a lot of time early on and talking to customers, we were able to understand, hey, who's in the desperate need? What kind of people really desperately need a product like Bond? And we were able to get those early users in our private beta. So these are the two things, go after something, you have an insight, and second, pick customers with a desperate problem and solve that problem.
How have you scaled and grow in this space? I know we only talk about 10 months here, but I do see from our research, you guys grow very fast. Do you have any tips about it?
So in consumer, you have to grow fast, right? You can't grow with B2B speed. And our objective is currently we are test privately and we are in private beta with our chatbot, but we plan to launch a native app in August and September. And then we want to really accelerate on growth. We are starting with the US, but we have global ambitions. We are starting with credit cards, but we'll also add a lot of other credit products. We want to expand and more credit products down the line. We also want to go global, and that's how we are looking at growth. And we are starting with Gen Z and young Americans, but we also want to cater to all age segments, irrespective of the mode of interaction with credit cards.
We've been interviewing a lot of startup founders. Many of them, they regret doing something or they learn some lessons during the journey. So if you could go back a couple of months ago and redo 3 decisions in your founding journey, what would they? Yeah, and why?
Yeah, I think the first will be, spend more time with customers. So we did, but I think we could have, spend even more time and, interact with customers. That's the first thing to do. Second thing is, show your product as quick as possible to customers. But in our case, building LLMs is, takes a long time, right? But we were still able to, ship as fast as, anyone else building an AI would do, right? So I think those are the two things, right? Speak more to customers and second, ship fast. And now, we are outperforming on each of these parameters. So we have a lot of customer interviews happening on a daily basis, and we are shipping products pretty much every day, right? That's the speed we are working.
Yeah. Next question is a little bit tricky. Let's see how you want to address it, right? Who's in the AI fintech credit space do you admire most, and what lessons do you drive from them?
Yeah, I think AI is huge, and on the consumer side, I'm really amazed by the things done by big tech and firms like OpenAI, right? So I was just playing with Google's VO3. It's amazing. We can see how AI can, change the whole creative industry, right? So I feel like the big tech is phenomenal, and that inspires us to dream big. Right? We really want to go big, and we really want to disrupt the whole credit space. That's the inspiration we take, right? Like, hey, firms like OpenAI, they are taking over, traditional companies and really disrupting how consulting happens, how marketing happens, how copywriting happens, right? So they have disrupted some like very strong legacy companies. Why can't we disrupt credit space, right? It's like hundreds of years old industry. Most of the AI has been built for B2B, but very few for consumers. So what's happening is, banks are equipped with AI agents and consumers have no automation in their end. So it's like human versus AI agent. Bond want to balance the equation, right? So we want to enable consumers with AI agents. So consumer AI agents interact with banks AI agents. Then we will see the equation being equal. So we are very inspired by the work done by big tech and like large AI companies, and we try to learn from them. And sometimes we feel proud that we outperform most of these players in consumer credit space, right?
Yes. And what recent AI fintech products or any innovations have also impressed or inspired you?
Yeah, I think I was very inspired by AI agents and the task AI agents can do. Of course, like agents or like the products built by generic foundation models are not able to achieve that accuracy. But like there are few industry specific agentic work that we have seen, like in legal industry, in pharma that we are seeing, right? So there's been tremendous achievements done by AI agents, and that's where we feel like, hey, let's do it in credit space as well, right? So yeah, those are the verticals we see like, hey, it's been done in other things. Someone will do in credit space. We are the best team to do it. Let's do it. But of course, there are tons of industries, people can still go and disrupt, which are boring, which, nobody is looking at, and they're just waiting for someone to come and disrupt.
Yeah, I know in this area, like I was from Visa, right? Visa has a huge AI related fund specifically for this area. Let's see how it goes. So let's talk about something future, right? What trends or opportunities do you anticipate being most impactful over the next 12 months or next 5 years?
I think the most impactful things that will happen are the boring things, or things that require a lot of effort from the consumer or by the businesses, right? For example, in our case, it's like applying for the credit card. It's so boring to fill a 9-step or a 10-step application on your phone, right? So that will pretty much go, and definitely Bond will be the first to do that. Things like refinancing. You're refinancing your loan, be it credit card loan or personal loan, is really hard. People hate doing those things, right? Because the legacy system, the banks, the issuers, the influencers, everyone require you to learn about how credit works, how money works. You need to go on a certain website, read like 5 to 10 blogs, then you will know like, hey, how can I use my 50,000 credit card points, right? Most people don't want to do it. They are lazy, right? And that's why like you will see billions of dollars of worth of rewards are unused every year, and in most cases, especially with airlines and hotels, they also expire because consumers don't know how to use those, right? So those things I think in future will be fully automated by AI agents. Anything that is boring, anything that requires a lot of effort from consumers to do, and consumers hate doing it, will be automated by AI.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Let's see how that goes.
For the listeners who want to join or building in your space, do you have any books, resources, education tools, or whatever things you recommend to them?
Yeah, so I mostly read, which are the latest AI trends, how are consumers using AI and AI agents. I also learn about, the most disruptive thing happening with the big tech, right? Like VO3 is new video tool. It's text to video and image to video with sound and effects, right? So you can actually make a cinematic ad or a video using VO3, right? So that's where I look into, that's how I learn. And also like following a lot of people on LinkedIn and Substack who write about AI or like big voices in AI. That's super helpful. So yeah.
Do you have some like recommendations, like which blogger you normally really like?
Yeah, so I have a lot of friends, and I also focus on fintech specific ones, right? These are the big influencers. One name comes into my mind is Rex Salisbury. He do really good podcasts. Another name so Rex is more around fintech.
Cambridge community.
Yeah. And I also read and follow up with a lot from OpenAI leadership. Pretty much I follow everyone at OpenAI leadership, right? So they really share cool research and their learnings. And internally, our engineers share a lot of stuff around what's happening in AI industry. In fact, our engineers working on LLM, they spend pretty much like 20-25% of their time just reading research papers and what's happening, latest in AI, right? So whenever they find anything cool, we also come to know about what's happening in the industry. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. Let's see. As you progress on your business, right? We'll see if we have a return session for some of your best researcher or like engineer head come here to visit us and share more insights as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So far we have been asking a lot of questions. So much for your inputs, and we learned a lot about your area, which is very exciting. Is there any questions that you think we should ask you but we missed for your field?
Yeah, so I think maybe like how are you using creativity in disrupting fintech and AI, right? So I'm someone who loves design. I'm fascinated by design, right? And we are very thoughtful about using design as a tool to give a phenomenal AI experience, right? Design can be cool in AI as well. And Bond will be, believe me, will be the best user experience with best UX and UI when it comes to credit cards and fintech in the US. You guys gonna love it. It's so well designed with every input, every component in our design is so thoughtful, and like how user behaves. We are testing with on our test flight with our early users, and people are absolutely loving it. So yeah, I think that's the one question.
I see. Thanks.
Being more creative, how to use creativity in AI.
Do you have something you want to share with our audience, especially for those who really want to start to build up something?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Tom, and thanks, Vicky. The only thing I will say to your audience is go out and build something. That's the best thing, right? It doesn't matter whether you succeed or fail, you will definitely learn. More satisfying is you took an action, you act on something you wanted to do, right? What will be a problem is like you had an idea and you never acted, right? So go out and act on whatever you plan to do. It could be with AI, it could be without AI, it could be in creative arts, it could be in any industry. Just go out and do stuff. That's it.
That's all for today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. We hope it sparked some inspiration for you. If you enjoyed our podcast, please like, share, and leave your thoughts in the comments. You are also welcome to join our WhatsApp listener group to dive deeper into the topics and exchange ideas with others. Bye. Woo!